Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? I can see some people waiting here. Please type in the live chat if you are here and where you're from. Okay, all right. I can see some people here waiting or watching. Can you type in the comments or the live chat where you're from? All right, anyway, I will also record this live stream, and I also received some messages that they won't be able to watch live, but they will paint later on. So for this live, we will be painting, studying this reference photo. You can find the reference photo on the description and also on the Facebook event page. I also encourage you to put your output in the comment section so I would see it. Don't worry, I I don't want I it's okay. I won't judge it, but I will help you to how would you improve it. I will teach you how to paint from a reference photo. All right. For those who do not know me, my name is Bianca. I am from the Philippines and I paint for like 3 or 4 years now. I mostly paint landscapes, flowers, and sometimes I paint different subjects too. Also, I paint mostly from the reference photo. So this is for beginner tutorial. So I will teach you how to paint this photo or translate it into a painting. So since this is watercolors, I will be using watercolors. Okay, if you are somehow a painter of a different medium, I hope that this tutorial for watercolors will help you to know more about watercolors. Maybe you have some, maybe I can teach you or I can teach in this tutorial what why I love watercolors and maybe some techniques that I use in painting watercolors. Hello, Maris. Okay, thank you for being here. Also, before I will start the painting, or you can paint along with me, or you can watch the replay, and then you can paint on your own time, in your own convenient time. I will also run through the materials that I will be using in this tutorial, and also I will explain in detail what I do as much as possible. Also, shout out to Ace of Art organization. It is organization of Filipino artists here in the Philippines in different mediums. They are very supportive. Also, my friends also in watercolor collaboration. They are my friends in different countries. Okay, so I will start running through the materials here. Okay, so I will put this reference photo on the side first. So for this tutorial, I will be using Arches watercolor paper. This is a small one. I cut it. This is from a big sheet, so I just cut it into small piece for this tutorial. So this is 100% cotton and 300 GSM. This is an artist grade watercolor paper. You can use any cold press 100 or any cold press paper that is 100% cotton. You might not have the same result like I have if you are not using 100% cotton paper or 300 GSM. If you find arches a little expensive, I know this is expensive, you can also try this Bao Hong Academy. This is student grade paper. This is cold press, also 300 GSM and 100% cotton. I have also some links on the description box or and also on the event page. You can see them if you want to buy them. Also, I will be using an artboard. So I have a small artboard here. This is like 8 by 10 inches. You could use any artboard that you have. I have also bigger artboard for bigger paintings. But for small ones, I just use this. For brushes, I will be using round brush, silver black velvet size 6. Or you could use any round brush that is like in medium size. Hello, Creation in Art. Good morning. All right. So you could use any round brush if you have, and it will be also helpful if your brush is has a pointed tip. Also, you could use a bigger brush for bigger wash, and I will be using also a flat brush. This is from Art Secret, 3 millimeters wide. This is a soft brush. I think this is a good brush. So there, if you have a flat brush for washes, this is also helpful. Or if you have a big round brush, that will also help. Okay, for the paints, I will be using some paints from Winsor Newton. So I will be using this one. This is Cadmium Lemon. I will be using also Winsor Blue. And then I will be also using Sepia. My Sepia is from Shinhan PWC. All of the paints that I am using are artist grade because I also sell my artworks. That's why. Okay, I have here a dropper. I use this dropper to drop some water to my paints to prepare them for painting. So since my paints are dry and we are going to use for watercolor painting, it is best to pre-wet it to have a great mixture of paint. So I have also 2 cups of water here. So one is for clean clean water jar and for dirty that where we can clean our brushes, okay, while painting. So I will just get just some a little of my water and drop it to the colors that I will be using today. Of course, we need a mixing palette. For mixing, I am using a ceramic plate. This is I bought somewhere in thrift shop, so you could use a ceramic palette. I prefer this than mixing on a plastic because it's easy for me to get the same um, the same colors that I mixed previously if I ran out, and if I noticed that when using thin palette or metal palette or plastic, it's difficult to get the same shade. Okay. I will be also using a masking tape. I do not use any artist tape because this one works for me. So this is fine. Also, I have here a pencil and kneaded eraser. I use 3H pencil because we do not want to leave or see any pencil marks on our painting afterwards, especially we are going to use a light color that is cadmium lemon. Also, I have a rug here for removing excess water and dipping my brush. Yeah, I will be using, you will see me how I use this. This is very helpful for me. Or if you do not have a towel with you, you can also use a paper towel or kitchen towel. That is fine. Okay, so we are done with the materials, and now we are going to talk about how we are going to plan the painting from the reference photo. So here is the reference photo. All right. Don't worry, you can get this reference photo on the link on the description box and also on the Facebook event page. By the way, I have also a scrap piece of paper here that I will use for swatching the colors before putting the paint to my actual paper. Okay, so first is how do we plan and simplify this painting? So this is a good sunset scene that I saw from a royalty-free websites like Pixabay, Unsplash, and Pexels. If you are looking for reference photos for painting, those websites are good. Also, there are also Facebook groups for free reference photos that you could use. Do not just grab photos on Google, okay? You make sure that the reference photos that you are using are free to use, or if you are good at taking photos, that is good. All right, so before we start the painting, we are going to plan this. How I am going to plan this. First, I can see here a very light shine of sun. Okay, so this in watercolors, we are starting painting from light to dark. Unlike other mediums, they start from dark to light. But for watercolors, since watercolors are transparent, we start from light to dark. So here we will start on the sun. We will avoid the sun painting on the paper, but what we are going to do is we are going to paint these yellow or shine or the sunlight around it. Also, we will paint these sky, and also we will make some clouds as well. Then we are going to paint also the mountain behind it and also these fields. We don't have to copy each of these wheat, okay? We don't have to do that. We can simplify it. Also, I will teach you how to paint this from background to foreground. And as per perspective, if something is far from you, that anything that is far from you, you will see it little or tiny, and then it was near to you, it will show as bigger. So I will show you how to do that. And then, okay, so if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. All right. So first, I will put this aside and we will start taping the paper down. So if you are new to watercolors, if you are not sure which side to paint, you will paint, if you are using the cold press, you will paint the side that has more texture. All right. By the way, to speed up the drying process, in this tutorial, I will be using a heat gun. All right. Sometimes, if you would like to remain this sunlight, you can also use a masking fluid or you can use a crayon like white crayon to cover it or a wax you you can use whitewash after. But for this tutorial, we won't touch the center of the sun. Okay, so when I'm taping my paper down, okay, because I actually asked some people in the group watercolors for beginners and supportive mentors. I asked the beginners there, what do you want to learn? So they said it's from start to finish. So that's what I'm going to do today. So so when I'm going to put the tape here, I'm not using an artist tape, just a regular masking tape from grocery store or from any shop. Okay. This one works for me. It doesn't ruin my paper. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the tape first on my towel to remove the excess gum and to remove the stickiness of the tape. This will help you to have a clean edge on the paper. Also, it will help your paper to lay down flat while you are painting. Since we are using watercolor, it can buckle and it will be difficult to paint. So to remain your paper flat on your board, or if you don't have a board, you could use like some artists use chopping board, some uses like acrylic or plastic clipboards. Some people just tape on their table, but I don't want to ruin my table, so I am using a drawing board. If you are painting, if you have a bigger painting, you can also use a bigger board that is painted. Most of the time, I use that. I have also a bigger board that can fit a big sheet of watercolor paper that is 22 by 30 inches. Okay. So I will put in now the tape. I will just leave some space. Okay. This will help you to have your paper flat on your drawing board while you are painting so it won't disturb you. All right. So we'll do the same at the bottom. So first I tape at the top and then on the bottom and then I will tape on both sides. It will help you also to remove the tape easily without ruining your paper after painting. Okay, it's too sticky, so let's remove some residue of the gum. All right, there we go. Okay, and on other sides. Okay, can you tell me how long you are painting for those people who are here? Can you type in the comment section how long you've been painting, or is this your first time? Don't worry. This is just a very beginner tutorial that maybe I can answer your questions. If you have any question about watercolors, we're just finishing taping this. And we will be doing wet on wet. So we will be putting water on the paper, take it wet. But before that, we are going to do very light sketch. You don't have to be excellent in drawing in this tutorial. When I started watercolors, I do not actually draw. I paint very loosely. I just paint loose flowers and some landscapes. At first, landscapes was like very intimidating to me, but then I learned how to paint it easily. Okay, so going back to the reference photos, we are going to put the horizon line. You don't have to use roller, it's fine. So just I will put the horizon line not actually at the middle but above the middle of the paper. Then okay, I will show it. Okay. It's not actually showing on the camera, but I have line here. And then the sun here and the mountain on this part. Okay, so this is just the sketch. I'm not sure if you could see it on the camera. Okay, so I can see the line. Okay, this is where the sun, and this is the mountain. All right. Let me know if you could see it clearly. Right, because I'm using a 3H pencil. I do not want to use um, a darker pencil like number two pencil. Hello, Arabelle. Aloha. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so going back, okay, I do not use like a darker shade of pencil like 4B, something like that. I use like 3H, a hard pencil, because soft pencil might smudge on your paper. Also, it can ruin your painting. This 3H pencil is helpful to cover enough the pencil marks. All right. And if your hand is heavy, you put the darker marks, you can just dab kneaded eraser. I will define this horizon line later on while painting. Okay, so now we are going to do wet on wet. And for this, wet on wet help us also to have a very good blend of our paint on our paper. Aside from that, if you are doing wet on wet, it will help you also to make some changes on your painting if you do not like it, or what you have, lift some colors if you made a mistake, because once you put the paint on the paper and the paper is dry, it will stay there permanently. It will be difficult to remove. Okay, so before that, I almost forgot to mix our colors, so I will put this one aside first. Okay, so for mixing colors, I will be using Cadmium Lemon. So I dip my brush on my water to prepare for and wet. And then, of course, this part is already wet. So I'll just get some color here. This is Winsor Newton Cadmium Lemon. You could use any cool yellow that you have. We do not need that much, so I think that's enough. Okay. Next, I will be preparing blue. This is Winsor blue. You could also use cerulean blue or any cool. You could also use cobalt blue. I think that is also good color for this painting. Or French ultramarine. That's also nice. And then I think that's it. I added lots of water here because I would like to have it like a very light wash. For watercolors, if you would like to have a light color, what you need to do is to add water, and for more saturated water or saturated paint, you just need to add more paint than water. So that's the beauty of watercolor. You don't have to add white. I do not use white most of the time on my paintings. Adding white will make your paints like a pastel color. So for example, you would like to make like a painting of pastel colors of flowers, or for example donuts, something like that. You can add white, but most of the time I do not use white. I will also mix some blue here in this part, and I will also add some sepia. I will be mixing this with sepia. Okay, a little bit more of sepia. Okay, and I will add more water into it. So when I was starting in watercolors, I find color mixing very, very satisfying, and I am surprised on what colors that I can make. and just mixing different colors, like 2 to 3 colors. Okay, and I okay. So this is the kind of gray that I would like. I will be using the gray for the clouds. And of course, I will be mixing sepia here. I will be using sepia for the background and also background of the field and also for the wheat. So I will be mixing it. Okay. Also, I will discuss those some like the water intake consistency of the color mixture that I have. Okay, it's okay. If you can see, while I'm moving this plate, the blue and the mixture of the blue and sepia are moving. It means that it has more water than paint. So I have like tea to coffee consistency. When you when the paint is not moving that much, like in the yellow and also in sepia, it means that you have more paint than water. And most beginners are afraid to add more paint than water. Okay, it's okay. You can add more paint and than water because it will help your painting to look saturated, all right, and vibrant. Okay. When I was starting, I used to paint in tea and coffee consistency as well. It means that in this kind of mixture, but then I learned to be confident in using more paint, and that's fine. Okay, so I'll get my board again, and I will prepare for wet on wet. So I my here are my water jar. Oh, hello, Bianca. Hello. Okay, so we have another Bianca here. All right, I'm glad to see you here. My goodness. Okay. All right. So I have two water jars here. See my dirty jar where I mix my colors and I keep my other jar clean. Okay. All right. My stand has his own life. It keeps on moving. Now we are going to start to wet our paper. Oh, hello, Nivedita. Okay. So we have people from the Philippines in India. All right. Yeah. Ashita is here. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Okay. So what I'm going to do to prepare my paper for wet on wet is I dip my brush. This is a flat brush from Art Secret. You could use any flat brush that you have. You could use a big round brush as well. Okay. So I will brush my paper from top to bottom. All right. And your paper should not be soaking wet because we have the paper taped down on our board and that's fine. Some artists do that they soak their paper and something else. Okay. Or they brush their paper with they wet the paper front and back, okay, and they do not take down. But this one works for me, and for beginners, this is also helpful. Sometimes what I do is I let the water soak in the paper like 1 to 2 minutes, and then brush it again with clean water. Remember to put clean water before you start wet on wet. All right. Make sure that your paper is wet evenly, all right, but not dripping wet. Okay, you would see if it's shiny. I- Okay, there you go. And then, okay, we will be starting with the sun. Okay, so I am going to get my round brush here, size 6. You can use any round brush that you have, like a medium sized round brush. Okay, we'll start painting around the sun. Okay, here. I will avoid the sun, the middle of the sun. And if you could see, if it's wet on wet, the paint is moving. All right, the watercolor is doing its own job. All right, and I'll show you more later. Okay, so I will just brush it off left to right. Okay, for the sun rays here, a little here. Okay, I will clean my brush and tap it on my towel, and then I will get this blue. Okay, and then brush it off. So I will do is I will tilt my board a little bit to pull the paint down. All right. If you can see, it's pulling down. Hello, Desiree. Okay. I will brush here so we can have like soft and smooth transition of paint. Okay. If your paint is, or if your blue goes down to the yellow like this, you can put your paper back down and it's fine. You can add a little more of the blue. Well, anyway, in this part, we will cover this with clouds. Okay, and I'll show you that later. That is somehow covering some of your mistakes. Okay, if you want more blue or saturated of blue, you can add more paint to your color mixture. If you see here, it doesn't move that much because the paper here is already damp, not that wet, but it's fine. So I will clean my brush first from the dirty water. Okay, if you are drinking while painting, you can put lid to your cup, okay, to avoid putting your brush to your coffee or tea. That happened to me. Okay, if that happened to you, cheers. Okay. So smooth sky. Thank you. Okay, now we will be painting on the field here and also on the mountain. So I will be getting this sepia. I add a little bit water because it's too thick. That I will paint here first on the mountain. This is actually the background, so we don't have to paint too saturated in this part. And if actually in my view here, I can still see the pencil lines. If it happens to you, that's okay because we will cover it later with the wheat field or with the wheat. You can add more saturated color below. It's okay if you paint unevenly, that's fine. Okay, I will add more paint here to show the mountain and also the horizon. Okay, there you go. If you see that the paint is moving upward in this part, it's because my paper here is still wet. Okay, that's fine. And I will let this dry. So this is our first layer. And on our second layer, we will be doing the sky. I mean the clouds. Okay, so I clean my brush, remove the excess water. So this part is still wet. If your paper is like, it will show like bumps, it means it's still wet, too wet. Okay, so you have to wait for it to dry a little bit. All right. I'm just waiting for it to dry a little bit, but yeah, so while waiting for it, may I ask you guys, okay, where are you from? Some people here, actually, I don't know where exactly they are. Okay, if you are from the Philippines, let me know where you are in the Philippines. If you are outside of the Philippines, where you are. I know Navidita is from India or moved to US. Okay, I have friends. Okay, it's good to have some artist friends, and I also it's also good to have a good community of artists. Okay, do you have a dryer? Do you ever use one to dry? Yes, I have a dryer, but for this one won't use I won't use it for this layer because I want to have this part damp when I'm going to paint the clouds. But yes, I am using a heat gun for faster drying. Okay, Arabelle, okay, from Hawaii. All right. Aloha. Okay. Hawaii is a good place, right? It has a lot of beaches as well. Okay. So it's damp here. It's still wet, but not too much wet, like unlike in this part. Okay. So I have here my mixture of Winsor blue and Sepia. Okay. It has coffee consistency. So, and my brush is silver black velvet. If you are using this, or if and for those who do not know this brush, it holds a lot of water and paint. So if I'm going to paint this on my paper damp with a damp paper and very very watery paint, very watery brush like this, it will it you won't have a good effect on clouds. So what I will do is I will remove the excess water or paint on this brush. I will try again. Okay. Is okay. So I will paint like some clouds here. Okay. What I am doing is I'm brushing like going from right to left. Okay. I think it's still too wet because I can see some effect. Okay. I think it's good enough. All right. Okay. There you go. Just brushing it from right to left very smoothly using the tip of my brush. Okay, like a curvy lines here. I am not looking on my reference photo anymore because it's hard to copy the exact clouds, all right? You can in if you like nature and I want you to focus on the things around you, like the shape of the clouds, and it will help you also to paint clouds as well. Or if you like ocean, you could observe the movement of the waves, and it will help you in your painting as well. Hello, Percent Cruz Sumera, watching from San Francisco, California. Yes, I know you are from ACE member too. Shout out to our ACE of art members. They are very supportive, and it's a group of artists, of Filipino artists in the Philippines and also abroad. They are very helpful. They are very supportive. So If you're Filipino and you like arts in any medium, you could join also Ace of Art. And if you are outside the Philippines, for sure you will able to find some art groups in your community or in your country. Okay, because having friends like other artists, friends, they will help you, support you, and they if you and for experienced painters, they will give you advice. Okay, so if you see here, okay, going back to my painting, this part is damp, but I will do some corrections on it. Okay. And sometimes what I would do is I brush it like going round like this. So it will help you to have like a cloud shape like that. Okay. Sometimes you will see some clouds like just some lines like that. Just observe the nature. Okay. And you will be able to see the shapes and you will and even if you don't have a reference photo in front of you, you will be able to paint the shape of the clouds and also the colors as well. If the clouds are not actually white when you look at them, the clouds some mostly have some gray color, and if it touches the sun, sometimes it changes to orange or yellow, sometimes violet. You would see different colors of clouds, and you can also focus on the shape of them. Okay, so I'm not following the reference photo anymore for these clouds, but somehow you will also see very realistic painters who can paint beautiful clouds. All right, this area is damp. Okay, so I just brush it off because if your paper here is wet, it will flow the paint also. So, and I do not like that on this painting. It won't give you clouds, it will give you like mixture of different colors. Okay, so this part is damp already, but I'm still painting on the clouds. You can just do some lines. If you want to paint looser, you can hold your brush a little farther from here or at the end of your brush. So it will give you more loose brush strokes. Okay, this part is already drying. That's fine. Okay, so I have these clouds ready. The next thing that I will paint would be the wheat itself. So to of course to faster the process, I will be using a heat gun this time so we can move on to the next layer. One moment. If you are using a heat gun or a hair dryer, do especially the heat gun because it's too hot. Do not put it very near your paper and have a distance. Okay, so I will just press mute for this. All right, one moment, please. All right, I'm back. If I do not use a heat gun, maybe it will take like 30 minutes to dry, and we do not. I don't want to waste your time just letting it dry. Okay, so you will know if your paper is dry if your paper is already flat on your board or on your table if you do not have a board. Okay, so moving on, our next layer would be the field. Okay, we will be using the tip of our brush, especially on this part. We don't have to copy exactly how it is, but I'll show you how to paint it on a different and a separate paper first before the actual painting. For those who are here and watching the replay, I encourage you to post your um, poster output of your painting. Okay, so I have my brush here, my round brush. You could use a smaller brush also, but I'll show you how to use the tip of your brush. Okay, so I have here the sepia. Okay, I'll show you how to do it. So first, with a thin line going up, and you could flick your brush like that, like going to the right, or you could go to the left. Okay. Oh, sorry. I hope you could see it here. So flick your brush. Another one. You can do it on a different directions. I am just using the tip of my brush here. I will make it bigger. There, and then just using the tip of my brush. Okay. So these would be like for the leaves or in the wheat. For the wheat itself, we could do like um, line here, and then using the tip of your brush again, you can paint going out, going inside, or you can take from inside going out, whichever it works for you, and then bigger and bigger. All right, here you go. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be going the same in the same direction, because if you do, it, it will be like it won't look natural. Since we are painting wheat, it can go to different directions. Make it bigger here, there, and you can add a little bit more of bigger here. So you could go to the right or you could go to the left. So it's up to you which one works for you best. If that will be going in or going out. Okay. If you're painting along with me, let me know which one works for you. But for me, it works for me if it's going outside. Okay. There. So that's what we are going to do. But first, we are going to define the mountain and also some fields here. I will add more mixture of sepia here. I'm using the 30 jar, okay? And I keep my other jar clean. Okay, for perspective, it's far from you. The colors, the colors and the size are are the colors are a little bit light, and some and the sizes are smaller, but if it's near to you, it's big. For this one, I am going to define first the mountain before painting the wheat. Okay, so this is glazing already. Like you paint on dry paper over the top of the first layer. Okay, so there you go. So you can see that my paint here is not moving. It means that I have thick, thick consistency or cream to butter consistency already. And then I will dip my brush to my water just a little bit. It's still wet, and I will dip my brush to my towel to remove the excess water to soften this part, this area. Don't worry if it will leave you like a hard edge on this part. Don't worry, we will cover that. And I will define also my horizon line here. In painting landscapes, horizon line is very crucial. If your horizon line is not straight or it's not defined, then you have to work on it. Okay. The other way to define your horizon line would be putting a tape in here. That would also work. Okay. For those who are here, can you tell me if you find landscape painting intimidating? Because when I was a beginner, I find it intimidating. Like there's a lot of going on and on the reference photo. I was hard. I was intimidated with the reference photo, and how would I do this? How would I paint this thing? It has a lot of things going on. Okay. It's okay if there would be hard edges because we will cover that. And I will have again like thicker mixture of my sepia. I'm getting more paint, and then I am going to use this for the wheat. Now, some of the wheat here, it will just show as lines. That's okay. We are going to do that. And some are like what I showed you earlier how to do it. So I will do that. In painting, you can paint from top to bottom. If you are right-handed, it's better to also to do left to right, so to avoid smudging your paper. Sometimes when I was a beginner, it happened to me that I painted on the right side and then I painted on the left, but then while still what I did not know that I smudged something on my right, and I have some paint on my hand here. So we don't want to have the same mistakes again. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I am going to paint the background of the wheat, like just thin lines like this. It's okay if it goes to the sky area, but not too much. This is light wash. Okay. You can flick your brush also to add some leaves, to show some leaves. I'm using just the tip of my brush, and if and I'll show you closer that there are some thin lines here. I just use the tip of my brush. Even if you have a big brush but your brush is pointy, you can do thin lines like that. Or you can if your brush is not pointy enough, you could use a smaller brush like size 2 or zero round brush, or you could use a rigger brush. Rigger brush is very thin and long. I do not have a rigger brush anymore, or size zero or detailing brush. We can also do that for thin, fine lines. But I'm okay with this, with the tip of my brush. Painting this area, like doing just some lines, will help you to will help you with your brush control. I'm adding some leaves here a little bit. It doesn't have to be the same size. It can be some can be long, some can be short. It's nature. It doesn't have um, like an actual shape. It's nature, so it doesn't matter if it's short or long. You don't have to copy exactly what you see on the reference photo. This is not really fully realistic painting, but you can express yourself with your painting like this. Okay, I think that's enough for me on this part, and I will do the next layer going down a little bit, but this time, since it's nearer, I am going to paint a little bit bigger. So you can add some leaves. You can just flick your brush. Alright. Also, I noticed from the beginners, especially in the Facebook group, Watercolors for Beginners and Supportive Mentors, they are discouraged because their painting is not good enough for posting. If you are a beginner, I'm telling you, just keep on posting. Do not throw away your painting. Your painting can look mess right now, but keep them. And after a year, if you keep on painting, you will see how much you've improved. Do not compare yourself to someone who's painting for like 5 years or 10 years of experience. Like, for example, like it's like a child, like a baby who's starting to walk, right? Or starting to speak, right? It's something like that. You cannot compare a baby to someone who is like 20 years old or 50 years old, right? You cannot do that. You just keep on painting. Do not to be hard. You don't have to be hard on yourself. It's okay to post your paintings. If you would like to ask feedback, that's fine. Because in the Facebook groups, there are a lot of supportive mentors who can help. Okay. By the way, on this part, some parts of the week I put it longer and some leaves here and also on the sun. Imagine that you are in this scene or you are in this place and you are lying down on the grass or in the field and you can and this is your view. Just relaxing, doing nothing, all right? On a vacation. Okay. So this is my third layer of the wheat. I'm adding more color to it and a little bit bigger, like it's already close to you. Right. This this part, it takes some a little bit time, but it will help you with your brush strokes. Okay. I am doing it a little bit faster now, and then I will add a little bit of, we can have more closer wheat. Okay, so here I will paint a wheat here. Okay, so it is, this one is smaller and getting bigger. All right. If you would like to see my work, you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Mrs. B Santiago. I also have a coffee page where I post also my paintings. I post some. I also write blogs. I also post some of my picture of my work, and I have there my shop. Okay. Also have Etsy shop because I sell my paintings there. Just views. Hopefully, sometime I will get some sale. And also, I use Printify to for print on demand. I also offer my paintings in canvas prints there. So this is bigger here. That will show it's really close. Now I will paint more bigger wheat in different sizes. It doesn't have to be the same size, okay? But it is more saturated in color. All right, there. Just flick your brush going outside. There you go. I also see like posts of some beginners on a in Facebook groups that they are intimidated to put the to ruin the paper or to paint. Okay, why? First thing, why did you buy those items, right? Those supplies. Okay, you will just waste money if you do not use them. Do not be afraid to use the paper and those paints. All right, because first of all, I believe the reason that you bought some art supplies for you to learn. At first, I started painting because of hobby. I did not actually thought of selling my paintings, and I did not thought of uh, teaching actually, but because I'm actually more on brush calligraphy, I started with that. Okay, this is more saturated. It's okay if you are using more paint than water. Don't be afraid to use more paint, all right? Because it will help you to have also to add depth on your painting. It will also give you more beauty on your painting. This brush strokes is relaxing. Okay. So if you want to relax, paint something like you are going to do the same brush strokes. Okay, like for example, like a basket or some wheat. You can also do that. I also have friends on Instagram from different places, and every month we post our paintings together. We discuss what would be our theme, when would be our posting, and there. So if you're painting along with me, or if you are going to paint later, if you would like to join to our collaboration, that's also good. It will help you to be, it will help you to improve a lot because the group will give like some advice also, and some tips. Like one of our friends asked what I that she is going to teach in person, what things that she could bring. We also help her with that. It's very nice to have an art community. It seems like you are not alone in this journey. You are painting with friends. Remember that no one is an island, right? Okay. I will go faster, but I am using the same brush strokes. Okay. Right here. Like it's very close. If you made a mistake, if your pencil lines are showing, you can cover that like that with your paint with a new layer. That's okay. Because sometimes there are some weight that will be like going on the top of the sun, like here, right? I notice it's all going to the right. Let's paint something going to the left, okay? Or some straight wheat and some leaves. So I am live right now. I actually asked my husband if I can do live because I noticed that there are a lot of beginners question on Facebook group that I am in. So I invited them as well, and I asked them what they would like to learn. So I asked my husband if I can do live, please. He doesn't have any work today, so I was able to schedule live. But I think I opened the event that was Thursday. It's very short notice, but I will ask my husband when would be he he is not in this room to work, so I can schedule my life early because I do not have a permanent workstation or studio to paint. But my plan would be I am recording some videos for beginners to post on YouTube. I will have like two options would be um one would be speeded up on YouTube and one would be real time, but there would be a fee. But I think I will do that on coffee. Also, I have a scheduled post on YouTube, and I will post a vlog about art stores that are that you can buy art materials in the Philippines. So if you are painting, if you are from the Philippines and you are new, especially for my new friends, you can check that out. I will be posting that tomorrow. I will be posting also some reviews of the art materials that I am using, and some topics also, for some topics that are discussed and that are discussed in the groups but not discussed most of the time. Okay, so I will do that. If you have like suggestions, you can also let me know. You can let me know in the comments, or you can send me a direct message. But in the Facebook group of Watercolors for Beginners, I receive a lot of feedback, okay, and suggestions mm, what they want to learn, and it's very helpful also for me to know what I can also offer and teach other people who are beginner in this journey. I will just finish this with bigger piece that are close to me. My next live tutorial would be extremely for beginners, near who are for who are really new in watercolors. Like we can paint. I have a tutorial for galaxies like that. We can do wet on wet. We will play with the watercolors and maximize the use of the watercolors. I have also some reference photo available that we can also study, and I can do live tutorial like this again. So I have those planned. Okay. I also paint flowers if you want me to show you how to paint flowers, I can also add that. But of course, I will be posting on YouTube new videos, especially reviews of materials I am using and how to use them, where to buy it. So I have them. Okay, just finishing this with bigger wheat. We can also add some just leaves. Okay. I chose this photo because it's relaxing, and I know that these brush strokes can help you, like how you would control the hold of your brush. Some beginners prefer like very stiff brush, like Princeton Snap, but for me it's better to use soft brushes like Silver Black Velvet. I started with Kolinsky brush that I bought in the local online store here in the Philippines, and it's very soft and I like that so much. But of course, I don't use them often, but I still use them sometimes. It helped me to paint and learn to control my brush strokes. So here, if you can see, I am holding this part. If you want to make looser, hold your brush near the end. Like if you want to flick your brush like with less effort, you can flick your brush, hold your brush near the end. Okay. So I'm adding more paint to more for more saturated color, right? To show that these wheat are very close to us, and also some of the spaces. All right. Okay. That we're almost done. And once you're done, remember to post your output in the comment section. I would like to see them. If you would like to get feedback, I'm open for that. If you have any more suggestions, well, you can also post them in your Facebook event or send a message. Okay. There you go. I am done with this. I'm going to clean my brush with the dirty water and then, of course, remove the excess paint. Also, tapping the towel. I will clean my brush with my clean water, and later on, after this live session, I will clean this brush with the master's brush cleaner. Okay, so that because it brush the brush cleaner will help you to maintain your brush maintain your brush quality. Okay, that's why I'm using it. Okay, so I will just let my brush dry here on my table, flat dry. It's already dry, but let me see on this area. I think it's already dry. The area that is not dry yet are some part in the middle here, but I will show you how I remove this tape. So if you are going to remove the tape, you are going to remove the last two tapes that you put in, which for me the sides. Also pulling away from your paper. All right, pulling it away. So this area is dry. All right, so I can remove my tape. Okay, there you go. If you want to sign your painting, you could also do that. Okay, there. And last two tapes. Oh, thank you. Okay, so I'm holding my paper here and pulling away my paper. Okay, there. Because most of the time I see people or beginner in watercolors having problems and ruining their paper. But remember, when you are removing the tape, your paper should be dry. Okay, you will know if it's totally dry if your paper is already flat. Okay, and last one. I'm sorry, I won't show my face at this time, but maybe soon, right? And of course, I have scheduled YouTube videos that I will be uploading. All right, there you go. So I have my finished painting here. I hope you like this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, please like this video. And if you have some friends who are new to arts or new to watercolors, please I hope that you can recommend me. share this video to them, and hopefully I will able to see your output like this. So this is beginner friendly. Hope you like this. I hope you learned something. This is really from start to finish, a step by step process. And if you think that I am fast, let me know. Let me know. Just send me a private message if or what can I add if you want to see something else, or if you have a suggestion of like a reference photo. I do not paint portraits, by the way. I have also I have some videos lined up, especially for beginners, like color mixing. If you have a limited palette, thanks Arabelle, because I started in watercolors. I use elementary grade watercolors that my son is not using anymore, and then I upgraded to 48 colors of Mungyo. But it's overwhelming because it has a lot of colors. It has 9 greens. It's too overwhelming for me, so I switched to some limited colors like this that is easy to bring. So there, I have this Winsor Newton in Shin hand pack. I also this is limited palette. If you want to see some video about color mixing, if you want to learn more of color mixing next time, you can do that on my next like tutorials. I'm also using Daniel Smith essentials. So this one, two, three, four, five, six. It has 6 colors of two, three, three sets of blues, reds, and greens. The cool and warm colors. I have here white night Spain's gray and some of metallic or homemade watercolors that I bought that I tried. Actually, the 6 colors of Daniel Smith and Essential set, it is very good for beginners because you can paint almost everything, like from landscapes to flowers, even skin tones. You can use it. If you want me to see how I do it and how I mix colors with the Daniel Smith Essential set, let me know. So I will end this tutorial here, and I hope that I will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.